Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV. So allegedly, everybody from Married to Medicine has gotten contracts for the upcoming season per Dr. Heavenly. I don't know who made her this ghost producer on the show, but that's what she said. And I heard a clip of her talking about it because I guess someone on one of her lives asked her a question about Quad and is Quad coming back. But I wanted to talk about something a little bit deeper because I previously discussed Dr. Simone and Quad, and you know how I felt that Dr. Simone, she shouldn't have brought up the incident where Quad lost a loved one. And I don't know the details, and I don't need to. It's none of my business. But if she didn't want to talk about it and share it, then that's her right to not do so. But I want to say this because I don't believe that Dr. Simone needs to be canceled or not come back to the show because of what she said. And I honestly don't believe that Dr. Simone is wrong in feeling how she feels. She has a right to feel however she wants to feel. My only issue was the fact that she still said the details when she was being like with Quad, hey, Simone, don't. So Simone knew what that meant. And whether she was hating Quad at that moment in time or for the past few months before the reunion taped or whatever it was, I just felt that Simone should have honored that and not brought it up. She didn't have to go into details. Most people are upset with Simone because she went into the details. All she really had to say is, I was there for her, and she could have said, Quad, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And left it at that. If she had left it at that, some people may have been wondering and they would ask the questions, but that's all they could do is wonder and guess, or some might guess correctly. Oh, that must have been about the situation that we heard about when Quad lost a loved one, a child, or something happened at her house. I believe it was something that was in the news, and we didn't get any details on it, and really we didn't really need that because again, it's none of our business. So sorry for her loss and her family's loss, but I feel that the outrage where Dr. Simone is involved is a bit overboard. I just believe that she should have just honored Quad's request and respected her right to not want to have that mentioned because it was her situation. And if she didn't want to bring it up herself, she should have just left it alone. But she could have definitely shared how she really felt and still not given the details about it. She gave the details, and whether it's right or wrong, I believe she gave the details because she was trying to give people the gist of why she was so angry, that I was really there for her as a friend during a very tough time. And this is what the tough time was, but she still hasn't been there for me as a friend. And so I feel that if she just left it alone and not went into the details, there wouldn't be so much outrage over Dr. Simone, because some people say, oh, well, Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie, that's why they're friends, because they're cut from the same cloth. They're just alike. I actually don't believe that. I really don't believe that Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie are just alike. I'm not saying that they don't have some similarities, and they definitely do. One, just because of their profession, and two, it's something like when you've been friends with someone for so many years, sometimes you do take on some of their characteristics, or you are friends because you have a few different things in common, but there's a whole lot that Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie do not have in common. And just on a surface level, Dr. Simone being a mother of so many years, Dr. Simone just being more down to earth, at least in public. I don't know how Dr. Jackie is when the camera's not on her, but to me, she seems to be just a stuck-up person for the most part all around, and then on television, just trying to give off this air of being this prim and proper princess. But someone made a comment about Dr. Jackie that made me laugh so hard. They said that people treat Dr. Jackie like she's the Surgeon General. And I was like, oh my God, that is hilarious, because it's kind of true. It's like, who is Dr. Jackie? For real. Like, who is Dr. Jackie? But anyway, the reason why I wanted to talk about this a little bit deeper is because Dr. Simone screeching and yelling and her mannerisms at times, I don't have an issue with that. It can be annoying at best, but I do believe that Dr. Simone is more genuine than Dr. Jackie, because I believe that Dr. Simone was really, really upset, because I do feel that she felt like Quad was a friend to her, even sometimes more so than Toya was at times, because if we go back over the seasons and over the years in the past, Dr. Simone and Toya, they've had some blow-ups, like for real. And I do believe that Simone felt slighted a lot by Quad, because she really did like Quad. And I believe she liked Quad as a friend and becoming a friend. And then she just started experiencing the fakeness of Quad when Quad got on Sister Circle. And, you know, the comments that she's made about these women, talking about the women on Sister Circle, have been more friends to me than anybody else. And saying that in front of Simone and the others, like Simone would wait for her, meeting her up for lunch. And Simone's be sitting there, and Quad would be showing up like 45 minutes to an hour late, like it wasn't a big deal. And just a number of other things, honestly, that I feel like Simone is just like, man, F this. And she just didn't feel that Quad was being genuine. And listen, speaking of Quad, listen, and I'm not trying to be shady, guys, so please, but people are going to think what they want to think, so I can't help that. But I know what I mean when I say this. Do you think Quad cried and fake cried? I'm just going to say fake cried, because even though I do believe it is something that hurts her about losing her family member, I didn't see one tear come out of her eye. And with all that makeup on, I don't care how waterproof your mascara or your eyeliner might be, but your foundation, like nothing, your highlighter, nothing got smudged. Nothing. Because the way Quad was crying, it wasn't like the Candace thing where she had her folded up triangle napkin ready to dab into the corner of her eyes. But the way Quad was looking like she was getting down with the tears, there was nothing. And then not more than a few moments after this breakdown of alleged tears, she's speaking regularly. And I'm like, what's up with that? Listen, I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that Quad isn't broken up about her family member and that it hurts her when it's brought back up. But do you think that Quad had a little bit of fake tears and just putting on for the camera? Was it a Candy said and scene situation? I'm just saying, the reason I'm saying this is because she broke down for a moment. She got, back up, and then she's apologizing. And then a few moments after they break, then she's getting up and she's, which I didn't believe was necessary, going to Dr. Jackie, allegedly crying, but again, no tears. I don't believe that she owed Dr. Jackie any tears. So I'm not saying that a tear should have been shed for Dr. Jackie thinking, or someone coming to her alleging that Quad had something to do with the dissemination of that clip from what she said a few years ago about Black pregnant patients. So I don't know. I feel, listen, because the other reason why I'm saying this is because last season's reunion, when Quad was so hell-bent on this thing with Toya that she was not going to stand back and stand by, when the thing was brought up about Toya and Eugene possibly having something to do with Anila's house being broken into, and Quad was insinuating that, she said, I'm going to stand on it. She said, yep, and I'm going to stand on it. I was like, what? So I understood why Toya was still upset going into this season with Quad and saying, you called us thieves. You alleged that we had something to do with the break-in and thievery of someone's home. Like, you called us thieves, Quad. I understood that. And the reason being is, like I said, Quad last season on the reunion said, I'm going to stand on it. I was like, wow. So this season, to hear her apologize to Toya now, I'm like, okay, is she apologizing and crying to get her way back onto the season? Because a lot of people felt like after her being dismissed from the Napa trip and not seeing her again until the final season finale, that she probably wouldn't be coming back to the show next season. But to hear now that Phaedra's saying that everyone is coming back, everyone including Quad, I'm like, wow. So maybe it works.
We have all had our ups and downs. I'm not perfect. I have done some things here to have hurt some of these women. I really have. Toya being one of them. Last season, Toya and I had a very rough season. Anila said something about Toya cheating or something in the neighborhood. I don't even live in y'all neighborhood. I don't. Although those things did not derive from me, I could have not repeated it, but I did. And for that, Toya, I want to apologize to you. I think now this is probably the third time, but I hope that you hear me and this doesn't fall on deaf ears. It was wrong for me to do that. And I shouldn't have said those things. I really shouldn't have. But there have been things that have been done to me in this group that have hurt me, that have broken my heart. Even a thing with me repeating the fact that Toya was cheating on Eugene. That was wrong, because guess what? I didn't like how it felt when Simone said that I was sleeping with the contractor. But I turned right back around and did the same thing. And it was dead ass wrong. And I shouldn't have said it.
What are they not getting? What are they misunderstanding?
It's like anything that I say, it falls on deaf ears.
Is it that
it's like they're not receiving
that
me.
They don't accept your apologies and move on in the same way that they do with others? Because you have apologized for those things.
Yes,
in the past.
and I mean what
and
I'm
never apologized
coming
like she just did.
Okay,
but
okay.
She's never. She actually took accountability in that moment. See what you mean? What? I'm actually giving you a compliment because this is the first time that Quad has said and not referenced it as if you did nothing wrong. You will always start off with an apology, but you never state what you did wrong. Mm-hmm. Today, for the first time ever, you were like, look, I didn't like it being done to me. Yeah. I shouldn't have done it to her.
I shouldn't have.
I think that her apology is convenient now, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to see going forward how she acts, because it's not the first time.
Okay.
I didn't have to come here and say that.
All
I chose to apologize to you. But other people's apology is accepted quickly. You know, I feel like I don't.
When you came to Napa Valley, you sat there and you said, hey, Toya, I'm here for you.
And I meant that.
You gave this whole speech at the table. You meant it.
Yes,
but right before that, we sat on the couch, me, you, Simone, and Letitia, and you said, I'm not here for you. I'm here for my check.
But if you say I'm here for the check and then you say I'm here for you.
Because I felt like she really didn't want me there.
Girl, stop it.
It was a complete
you knew exactly what I meant. You knew exactly what I meant. If you wanted to be in this group of friends, if you wanted to mend fences, then come to Napa Valley and do that, and don't make it about a check.
Because I didn't think you would want me there. Because you don't like
Well, maybe you should have called me and asked me, hey, I would like to come and support you.
What would you have
Instead
said?
of making that
What would you have said?
I'd have said, you know what, Quad? I told the ladies to invite you.
You really
Because let's mend fences. I told them that. I told them when we were out to dinner. I said, invite her.
Am I hearing you say Quad should go to Napa?
I mean, I think good friends try to keep all of us together.
Right. Okay.
Well, I perceived it the wrong way, and for that, that's my mistake. That is my mistake, Toya.
Lady.
All right, guys. So you heard that, and people, they have a lot of vitriol for Toya for some reason. I feel that a lot of it just comes from the fact that people just feel like she's superficial and materialistic, and she's actually, you know, she could be that. She's admitted, like, I like certain stuff, and if her husband wants to do whatever to make sure that she gets what she wants and she can play tennis all day and whatever, that's her life. I don't really care. But she's not wrong. Like, and they played the clip of her actually saying, yes, good friends should try to stick together. So yeah, I want to extend the invitation for her to come to Napa. But Quad was insinuating that I didn't think you wanted me there. And Heavenly was even agreeing, like, yeah, she said invite her. So there is, I believe just from the first season, Toya and Quad, they can never be real true friends, ever. There's just always been this thing between the two of them, and that's the thing. Stop trying to force friendships that were never really real in the first place. But the apology, no one forced her, like Quad said, to apologize to Toya, but she definitely knew that she needed to do that for the sake of that check. Like she told Toya and Napa, I'm not here for you, I'm here for the check. She apologized for the check, okay? And listen, that's just what it is. You can sugarcoat it. You can try to make it seem like, oh, I've seen the light since last season. But no, last season she said, I'm going to stand on it. Okay. She was still hell-bent on wanting to insinuate that Toya and her husband had something to do with Anila's home being broken into. And then she tried to flip it to well, you all accused me of sleeping with my contractor. They didn't accuse her of sleeping with the contractor. They said that's what was being said. And they may have been messy for talking about it too. I'm not saying that that's right, but they didn't go out there spreading rumors that she was sleeping with the contractor. That's what was said. That's what people were talking about. But anyway, I just am over this stuff because, like I said, I don't even really care for Quad like that. But I just believe that Simone should have just not given the details. But I'm not here to say that Simone needs to be dismissed and canceled because she did. I just believe that she operated in her feelings and emotions. And like I say all the time, it's dangerous to do that because when you operate in your feelings can fool you or make a fool out of you. And don't allow your feelings to do that. It's not the easiest thing to do when you are in that moment. It really isn't, because we're human beings. We're actually spirits living in this human flesh. So sometimes it's not a hard thing for our flesh to take over and take control. With the spirit, we really have to sit calmly and think about it for a moment versus just immediately acting on a feeling. Somebody pisses you off, you want to curse them out, you want to swing on them, you want to punch them down or whatever. It's the easy thing to do that. It takes effort to pull back, to hold back, to not go there, and all of those different situations because you're in that moment. Okay? So that's where emotional maturity and emotional intelligence comes into play, and I just believe that Dr. Simone lacks some of that. Because that's why we do see a lot of the outbursts with her and the yelling and the screaming and the screeching and whatnot. And some of it can be entertaining for us as viewers, but sometimes it's a bit annoying. It's very obnoxious. It's overrated at times. And it's just like, okay, enough is enough. So with that being said, no, I don't believe Dr. Simone should be canceled for what she said. It wasn't a mistake. It just was a bad decision. But two, I don't believe that Quad was just so broken up over Dr. Simone mentioning that. Because again, I didn't see any real tears shed. And when was this reunion aired? And then she just recently came out to do a post saying how shameful it was for production to have allowed Simone to, like, what are you talking about? And maybe you couldn't come out and say that then because you couldn't reveal stuff before the reunion aired, I guess, maybe. But seriously? Now you're outraged? I mean, if it was that just so disturbing, she could have did a post then. It wouldn't be like she had a clip of the reunion that she put out there and she didn't have to say, well, let me tell y'all what happened at the reunion. They allowed Dr. Simone to say this about my whatever. I'm sorry, I'm not saying about my whatever in terms of being in a condescending way. I can't recall who the family member is, but, say this about my family member losing her life when I told her I didn't want her to speak about this, and I told them I don't want this to be mentioned, and they allowed her to do it anyway. Like, she could have done something. As many times as these people come out here and do these cryptic posts about people, and it's like, girl, just blurt it out, or boy, just say what you're saying. But anyway, yeah, Dr. Simone, I don't believe she deserves to be canceled for this. And I also don't believe the tears. I'm not saying again that she was upset, but I don't believe the tears were actually really shed. I just don't. Again, like I said, I didn't even see a smudge on the tissue that she was, blotting on her eyes. And I hate to be like that, because I'm not trying to be one of those people with my magnifying glass up to inspect, to make, like, no, that's not what I'm doing. But we cannot ignore the fact that it was a breakdown, and a couple of moments later, it was a few seconds later, honestly, it wasn't even like a couple of minutes, and that's even short, but it was a couple of seconds later when she straightened up and she was speaking fine. And then when they went for the break, then she's breaking down to Dr. Jackie like she owed Dr. Jackie something. She didn't owe her an apology. She didn't owe her an explanation. She didn't owe her I would never do that to you. Like, girl, please. So to me, I just felt like it was a put on. It was a production for the sake of securing her place back on the show, because she needs it. So guys, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.